Hey everybody, it's Emily. Welcome back to my channel, and today's video has me a little nervous. I'm getting kind of vulnerable here because I'm finally making my video sharing with you guys my journey with my anxiety. And yeah, it's kind of nerve-wracking, and I want to point out I'm not making this video for any kind of sympathy. You know, I don't want you guys to feel sorry for me or anything like that. I'm making this video because I have a firm belief that no problem is too big to get through. You know, no matter what you're going through, there's a way to get through it. And what I've been through has made that even more concrete in my mind. So I'm making this video in the hopes that anybody watching it, you know, might just find some kind of comfort and hope in my journey and, you know, hearing what I've been through and how I got through it. So I don't know if that makes sense, but that's really what it is. Yeah, I might babble a lot in this video too, so I'm gonna try and edit it as good as possible. We'll see how that works. But anyway, I'm just gonna get right into it. So for starters, I think I'll just mention like how my anxiety presents itself, because I don't think it's the same for any two people. I'm not an expert on anxiety or anything. I just feel like that just makes sense. I don't think anybody experiences it the same way as another person. So for me, my anxiety comes down to really just a fear of contamination. There's this very simple side to that, which is just liking things to be sanitary. So I get very thorough and careful about how I, you know, wash my hands after I use the bathroom, and I take quite a while when I shower because I'm very thorough about making sure everything is clean. And you know, I'm just very cautious about things being sanitary in general, you know, like washing my hands after I take out the garbage or do my laundry, you know, things like that. There's also a side to it that means I have a fear of being contaminated by like toxic chemicals. I don't like using things like bleach or just regular things like Lysol wipes or Lysol sprays in general, anything like that. I'm not comfortable using because I just feel like those chemicals are too harsh and potentially harmful, and I just don't like the idea of coming into contact with those. The other big part of this, which is a little tougher for me to explain and a little harder to understand for most people, is that I have a fear of being contaminated by drugs. And I'm not talking about prescription drugs like medicine that you take. I'm talking full on like the illegal drugs. And yes, I do include pot in that. I mean, obviously that's a very highly debated issue. That's not why I'm making this video. I'll just state as a fact that I'm personally against it, and you know, I'm not going to apologize for that or explain it. I'm just saying that's how I feel. Not in the mood to debate it, even in the comments. If I see anything in the comments debating it, I'm just going to delete it, so don't waste your time. But yeah, anyway, that plus, you know, all the other illegal drugs that you can think of. I'm not going to list them, but yeah, basically I have a fear of being contaminated by those things as well. These issues have been a part of my life for quite some time, several years in fact, and it's wreaked some havoc in my life. I've even had to quit jobs because of them, and it's been tough. But until about a little over a year ago, I thought I had it under control, or at least I felt like I did. I mean, I kind of took comfort in the fact that even though I felt anxiety about these things, I didn't let it get to a place where I was scared to go out in public and be around strangers. You know, I wasn't one of these people that was weird about like touching doorknobs, or, you know, that needed to wipe down shopping carts before I went any further in the stores. I just, you know, I hadn't gotten to that level of my anxiety, but it got triggered really badly near the end of 2017, and that's kind of where the story takes place. So before I tell you guys about the incident, I want to preface the story a little bit. So back in the summer of 2017, I purchased a Xbox at a yard sale. Not the first thing I ever bought at a yard sale, not even the first game console I'd ever bought at a yard sale, but for some reason, this situation was totally different. You know, I had no reason to feel any differently about this item, but for some reason I did. When I, like, almost from the second I bought this Xbox, I became overwhelmed by the thought that this Xbox was contaminated by drugs somehow. I had no reason to think that, no smell or residue or any reason to think that the people or the house where I bought this was unsavory in any way, but for some reason these thoughts planted themselves in my brain. Could not explain it for anything in me, but they were, and I couldn't shake them. No matter how much I told myself that I was just being ridiculous, that was just not reasonable at all, I couldn't get rid of these thoughts. And I still brought the Xbox home. I still set it up and used it for several months. You know, I would just like wash my hands after, you know, putting a game in. You know, I was very careful about it, but I still used it. Yeah, I know that makes no sense, and yeah, this whole situation is weird, but I say that to say, fast forward to the end of 2017. So my family and I, we moved into the house where we live now in October of 2017. And we moved into the house perfectly fine. I brought the Xbox here. I would just like, I brought it in the house, washed my hands, you know, it was all fine. I never got around to setting it up because of what I'm about to tell you later. But then near the end of November, this is where we're getting to the incident, there was a situation that happened. So there was also a bag of games that came with the Xbox when I bought it. I kept a couple and then just kind of threw the rest of them in a random box and forgot all about them. Until one day at the end of November when my family and we were getting Christmas decorations out, and my mom found those games in a box when she was going through stuff in our garage to get the Christmas decorations out. And just, I think it goes without saying, yes, the fear of the Xbox being contaminated by drugs did also extend to the games that came with it and everything that came with it. And when I saw what she was holding, it was just like, oh no. Uh-oh. What? And I just kind of froze. I think all I managed to say to her was like, oh no, yeah, those were the games I didn't want. And so she was like, okay, I'll get rid of them. And she went on about her business and was just like moving around the house. And I'm still sitting here on our couch, just like totally kind of panicking, you know, and trying to calm myself down and say like, oh, relax, it's okay, you don't need to worry, those things aren't contaminated, you're just being irrational. And, you know, I thought I could just talk myself down, basically. And I almost did, but it was a little while later that I ended up having to go into our hall closet that we have downstairs. We have a little hallway downstairs that goes to like my parents' bedroom, and there's a little like coat closet, little storage closet down there. And my mom had opened that closet door to get something out of there. So when I opened that door, because there were some shoes in there I wanted to wear. My mom and I were going to the store later. I think we were going to Lowe's to get some Christmas stuff. And I had to get a pair of shoes out of there to wear. And I had to touch that same door that she had touched a little bit before. That was when my mind really spiraled out of control, but I still tried to squash it. And like, I think I even like, just like raked my hand on my shirt, like, see, you're fine, just relax. And we ended up leaving and going to Lowe's that day and getting a couple of Christmas things. And you know, the whole time I was trying to tell myself that it was okay, but the more we walked around, the more I thought about it, the more I'm just like, no, it's not okay. So when we got home, I immediately changed clothes and just washed my hands, and that was that, at least. for that day. I think a couple of days later, I went somewhere with my mom and I had to wipe down my entire seat in the car that I had sat in on the way to Lowe's that day. But even after that, I was okay. You know, I felt like I had managed to get a handle on that particular situation, and it didn't spiral out of control. So fast forward a little bit more now to about a week later when I next had to do laundry. And, you know, I hadn't thought that laundry would be a big deal, even though the clothes that I was wearing that day that I had decided in my mind were contaminated were in this load of laundry. You know, I wasn't worried about it. You know, so I put my clothes in the washing machine. And the thing about me back then was, even though I had this thing about things being sanitary, it was not a big deal for me, even while I was dealing with dirty clothes, to like fidget with the clothes I was wearing. You know, like pull up my pants, or, you know, like pull my shirt down or something, or like adjust my sleeves or something, just anything like that, fidgeting with my clothes. It was not a big deal. It is now. I don't do that now, but back then I did. So I put that load of laundry in. I'm fidgeting with my clothes. I'm not thinking about it until after, when I had come upstairs, I washed my hands, and then I come in here in my bedroom, I grab my phone, and I chill on my bed for a little while. I go on Instagram. That's like a normal part of my morning routine. You know, so I'm here just doing stuff on my phone, and that is when the you-know-what hit the fan. Because as I'm sitting there, you know, on my phone, just chilling in my bed, I have the thought of, oh, bleep. What did you just do, Emily? You know, I knew right away what I did. I touched those clothes and touched the clothes I was wearing. I was like, oh, crap. Go do something now. Clean everything. You know, cause it set off a chain reaction. It wasn't just the clothes I was wearing. It wasn't just the bed. I started thinking, like, what did I touch between here and there? You know, what did I come into contact with? It just sent me into a cleaning frenzy. I was grabbing paper towels and wiping everything down, really just with like wet paper towels, or like just washcloths. That's really all I did. No soap or anything, just wet towels. And for me, that was enough, you know, but I couldn't get control of it. As much as I wiped stuff down, it just kept setting off a chain reaction of what my therapist and I call things touching things. You know, the second I get one thing clean, I would start worrying about, did I come into contact with this? You know, did I drip water on this when I was washing my hands? And, you know, did I touch this, that, or the other? It just a whole mess, and I could not get control of it. And it's like the more I tried to clean, the more this frenzy started in me. I don't want to say I had a panic attack while I was doing this, because I don't feel like, at least I didn't physically have a panic attack. I didn't feel all those things like, you know, trouble breathing or like the room spinning or anything. It was mostly just it was mostly just the mentality of, I gotta clean. Everything contaminated, clean. And, you know, it just felt like it was never going to end, and it really didn't for a while. Like, I went to bed that night still thinking, like, there's still more things I got to clean the next morning, and, you know, just that one moment just messed my mind up so much, you have no idea. You know, I was cleaning for days, and for a little while, my parents, I didn't talk to them about this either, and it wasn't too long though. It was only a couple of days of me just like feeling the need to clean everything that my mom picked up on what was going on, and she was like, okay, what's going on? Like, just, you know, why are you doing this? And I had to just break down and tell her. My mom did her best to help me, bless her heart, and even like her helping me clean didn't help. Like, and when I say I went on a cleaning frenzy, I mean I was wiping everything down. I threw both the trash can in my room and the trash can in my bathroom in the dumpster. I threw my Xbox and everything that came with it in the dumpster, which I know some people will be like, what, but that's how extreme I decided I needed to go. And just like almost everything in this bedroom and a lot of stuff around this house were wiped down. But for some reason, even that did not get control of it. And so that incident was in the beginning of December 2017, and throughout that whole month and into the beginning of 2018, in January of 2018, my anxiety just got progressively worse. You know, like I said before, I've always kind of taken comfort in the fact that I hadn't let my anxiety get to the point where I was scared to go out in public and be around strangers or, you know, touch things like doorknobs out in public. But, oh my goodness, that changed in a big way. I was terrified to leave my house. You know, I couldn't go anywhere without, like, just watching people around me, like, are they gonna touch me? You know, I was very careful not to let anybody brush up against me. If they did, that made me uncomfortable. I couldn't go shopping with anybody, especially like my mom or my dad, like either of my parents, because, you know, I was terrified that somebody was gonna brush up against them or bump into them, and then, you know, are they gonna be contaminated and bring that back to our house? And, you know, just being in public got harder and harder. And the sadder part was, it got hard for me to even just walk around my own house, even my own bedroom, you know, because there are so many spots around my bedroom, around our house, that in my mind were contaminated in this whole chain of events, that it made me uncomfortable, because I'm like, am I going to walk around the house and contaminate myself again and just spread it even further? And, you know, there was a point where I couldn't even touch the front door to just go outside. I had to have one of my parents open it, because for some reason, even though I was uncomfortable touching it, I wasn't uncomfortable with them touching it. I know, that doesn't make sense either. I should also mention, though I think it goes without saying, that the holidays were totally ruined for me that year, which was just the worst thing about it, because if you've watched any of my Christmas videos, you know I love the festive season. It's my favorite time of year, and it was ruined in 2017. You know, it was hard to feel good, like, obviously going out Christmas shopping, though I somehow managed to do that. And just, like, thankfully there weren't really any parties to go to that year. And, you know, I did manage to spend time with family, but somehow that got ruined too, because one of my presents, although I feel bad saying this because I don't want the person who gave me this present to think they're at fault, because, I mean, they're not. Obviously, they had no idea this was going to happen, neither did I. But one of my presents happened to be in its shipping, the box it was shipped in still. And the return address on the shipping label was from a state where a certain something is legal. So, obviously, if you've been paying attention, you can imagine that that made me anxious, and that just threw me off. I mean, it was just, that whole time was ruined. Now, having said all that, and, you know, having told you guys just how bad my anxiety got, I do now want to share how I got through it, because praise the good Lord above, I did. And just, it wasn't easy, and it took a lot of steps, a lot of hard work, but somehow it worked out. One of the first things I did was talk to my doctor and explained everything to him, and one of the first things he suggested was me going on medication. Now, I am on medication, but it's not anything too, like too major. It's not like Adderall or Prozac or Xanax or anything. I forget the name of it, but essentially what it is, it's a mild antidepressant that, according to my doctor, really just is designed to raise my serotonin levels. If you don't know what serotonin is, it's the chemical or like hormone your body produces when you're happy. So this medicine that I'm on is really just intended to raise the levels of serotonin and just, you know, help my mood, which in my situation was much needed at that point. And I've been on that medicine for a year now, and the dosages have been changed like once. I think we upped the dosage a little bit after like the first couple months of me taking it, but after you're taking it, I can say it has helped, and it's definitely just helped my mind feel a lot clearer and helped me get rid of a lot of this anxiety. The next thing on top of the medication was therapy. That's a big point I want to make in this video. If you're struggling with any mental health issues, or really just struggling with anything, no matter whether it's mentally, physically, just stuff going on in your life that's stressing you out, please seek therapy. I cannot recommend it more. It has been such a blessing and a godsend in my life. You know, I've found a wonderful therapist. She's a terrific listener. She's very understanding and patient with me. Even when, at the beginning of my time talking to her, you know, when I first started talking to her, it was a weird situation because I was not comfortable going to her office because her practice also deals with addiction, you know, helps addicts, which, again, not hard to understand why that would make me a little anxious and make me a little weary of going to her office. But yeah, she was very understanding of that from the very beginning. And at first we did Skype sessions. We had sessions via Skype, just video chatting. And the only thing about that was my insurance, and I think insurance in general at the time, did not cover that. So my parents had to pay for that for a while, which was obviously not financially feasible forever. They can only afford to pay for that for like the first month or so. And then we had to switch to actually meeting in person, which no matter where you meet, my insurance paid for. So we would talk, you know, like walking around a local park, or funny enough, we actually would have sessions sitting at a table at McDonald's. I don't know if anybody else is able to say that they've had therapy inside McDonald's, but this girl can. I don't know why that amuses me so much, but it does. But yeah, we'd have sessions, you know, just sitting at a table at McDonald's, eating like fries or just drinking soda or something, I don't know. But yeah, we'd talk, and then eventually I did come to a place where I was able to you know, actually go to sessions at her office. You know, she kind of eased me into that, thank goodness. She was very, like I said, understanding, and helped me take the baby steps that I needed to get there. I know it seems weird to some people to, you know, go talk to a stranger about, you know, your issues, when, you know, you should just be able to talk to your family and friends and get all the support you need. And believe me, my family was, you know, wonderfully supportive and understanding of what I was going through. They were there for me, of course. And, you know, my friends, you know, especially my best friend, you know, she's gone through her stuff too. So she definitely understood what I was dealing with and, you know, was there for me. But it's hard to really explain to people who were close to you, because it can be very uncomfortable. And yeah, it's uncomfortable to talk to a stranger about that too, but when you put yourself in the position of talking to somebody who's a mental health professional, and you know that they have the training, and you know they understand things like anxiety and other issues similar to it in a way that other people don't, you know, and they have the outside perspective of, you know, their life isn't being affected by your life. They're not living with you being affected by the fact that you're worried your house is being contaminated. You know, they're not your best friend who, you know, you're bailing on plans with them because you're just too anxious to go out in public and, you know, go see a movie or something. You know, they have that perspective and the training to be able to tell you, okay, yeah, you know, this is normal that you're feeling this way. You know, here's some ways that you can, you know, help yourself through this. These are some things you can tell yourself when you're experiencing these things. And it's just unbelievably helpful. And it's just, I feel so blessed to have my therapist, and I actually look forward to my sessions with her, because it's just so nice. Even now that I've come through a lot of my anxiety struggles, it's so nice just if I'm going through a rough week just because of other stuff and I need to get stuff off my chest and just vent to somebody, she's more than happy to listen and, you know, just be understanding and give me that perspective that I need, you know, for someone to just say, oh, well, here's what you could do, you know, here's something that you might want to try, and that helps a lot. Another big part, in fact, probably the biggest part of my healing, me getting through all this anxiety, is my faith. You know, my belief in God, Jesus, the Bible, you know, whatever you want to call it, that's what made the huge difference for me. And don't get me wrong, I'm not making this video to shove religion down anybody's throats or, you know, tell people you have to believe in God, you know, because that's the way to live, you know, that's the only way to be. I'm not, you know, I'm not trying to say that. I mean, quite honestly, if you don't believe in God, if you have some other view, and, you know, me talking about all this offends you, please feel free to click off this video. I could care less. That is your prerogative. That's between you and whatever higher power you subscribe to. I really, whatever. That's how I feel about it. But quite frankly, this is my truth and my views and what has helped me. So I'm going to talk about it. And so, yeah, my faith has played a huge part in me getting through those anxiety struggles and the stuff that I continue to struggle with, you know, and prayer has been a huge thing for me, you know, not just praying by myself, but my mom praying with me, my aunt praying with me, plenty of people that I know who have told me they're praying for me, and just, I definitely believe in the power of prayer. There is nothing like it, in my opinion, and I can't tell you how many Bible verses gave me such comfort when I was going through the hardest days of my anxiety. You know, I have on a sticker on my MacBook, I have my favorite verse, which is Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord. And that has meant everything to me. Whatever it may be, I've always believed that. You know, no matter what I've struggled with in life, I've always believed that God has a plan for my life, and, you know, I don't think I would be able to make it through a lot of the stuff I've been through in my life without that belief in my heart. And yeah, again, like I said, I'm not trying to force my beliefs on anyone. You know, I just feel like for anybody who's struggling, or anybody who's going through anything, whether it's mental health, physical health, you know, just other things you're dealing with in your life, financial issues, relationship issues, whatever it may be. If you're in a situation where you just don't know where to turn to God. You know, just, I know it sounds like, oh, well, that's easy for you to say, but it makes a difference. It really does. You know, it did for me, and I know that there's still struggles ahead of me. I have a long road ahead of me to get to where I feel like I want to go in life, you know, where I feel like God is leading my heart. And, you know, it's not an easy road, you know, I know that. But knowing that I've made it through everything that I've gone through, you know, with my anxiety, everything I've gone through just in general in life, knowing that I've made it through that gives me the confidence to meet those struggles head on, because I feel like, you know, with God by my side, I can get through anything. You know, I give God all the glory for everything, good and bad, in my life, you know, because it's all working together for His plan. And I think that is where I'm going to wrap this video up. And yeah, I'm not going to do my whole end of the video spiel where I ask you guys to do all that usual stuff, because I just don't feel comfortable doing that in this video. But I do want to say, by way of conclusion, that if you've clicked on this video because you're dealing with your own anxieties or other mental health issues, or really just any struggles in your life, then I hope that me sharing my story in this video has helped give you some kind of comfort or confidence that you too can make it through your own struggles. You know, everybody's dealing with something, and so you shouldn't feel alone. And please know that you do have the strength in you to conquer your struggles. You may not feel like it, but you do. And, you know, you might have to dig a little deeper, and you might have to work hard at it, but you will conquer those issues in your life and be a stronger person for it. So I hope you take that away from this video, and with that, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye for now.